Welcome back to the Corporate Rejects podcast, and welcome if this is your first time listening in. I am your show host, Amanda Davila, and I am excited to continue to provide support and empowerment through your journey to entrepreneurship. I think it's really easy to get stuck in a trap where you are just taking everyone else's advice and not really thinking about you and what you want. I feel like as women, we easily fall into this, especially being wives and moms. And a lot of the clients I work with, and myself included, we tend to be people pleasers, pushovers sometimes. People who like to keep the peace. I'm sure there's a much more eloquent way to say that, but people who like to keep the peace and want to make everybody happy. So, and we think the best in people. That's another thing. We think the best in people, and we want to support everybody and help everybody. And a lot of times that can cause us to miss out on what we actually want. And down the road can cause a lot of issues for us personally. So it's important to remember that there are tons of amazing people out there who have great advice and can tell you exactly how to do something because it worked for them, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. I don't say that to discourage you, but I say that to remind you to use your own discernment and to do what works best for you, to use your intuition, and that you're going to get a ton of opinions and ideas. And, you can listen to the big time gurus and they're going to give you a lot of great info, but you have to take what you need and leave the rest. You can't follow every single person and take all of their advice and do it all. It just doesn't work that way. So you need to find the balance of you and the advice that you get and what's going to work for you in your business. And it can be really hard and easy to get distracted when you are trying to learn and you're so open and ready to learn and you want to do the best, right? So you follow the best and you take their guidance. That's what you're supposed to do. You need to hang out with people and associate yourself with people who are already doing more than you, better than you, they're more advanced than you, whatever you want to call it, because you want to learn from them. But you don't have to take every single thing from them. And a really good example is when someone goes to work with a coach. I have a friend who started working with a coach and she paid a lot of money. And this is someone who does not spend money very often and does not waste money. But she finally decided to work with a coach and she paid her like 10 grand and she did not like her style. She didn't like the advice. Yes, she knew this person was successful and had done this exact process for their own business, but it didn't work at all for hers. And it wasn't what she needed. It wasn't what she needed or wanted. And she was really, really unhappy. I recommended her to my coach and it was like match made in heaven because like me, she really needed someone who would customize things for her and her business because it's not one size fits all. It truly isn't. So yes, you want to work with the best and you want a coach that has been there, done that, and can lead you and coach you through it. But it doesn't mean you're going to do every single thing exactly the way they say it. And if that's how they are acting and you don't, and they, aren't treating you well because you aren't doing exactly what they say, well, sorry, but you're not their bitch. You're paying them. You are paying them to help you move your business forward, help you learn how to sell, help you learn how to build whatever it is you're trying to build. Yes, you want them for their expertise and their guidance, but you don't necessarily always want their exact blueprint of how they did it. And maybe you do want to know how they did it, but you're going to take that and you're going to tweak it to work for your business. So that's something that's really important before, choosing a coach, to make sure that what they offer, their teaching style, that kind of thing is aligned. Another really good example is a personal example. So when I was working as a virtual assistant and I was getting to the point where it really wasn't what I wanted to be doing anymore, I started to dread things. I started to dread if I had a Voxer message from somebody because my energy level was not good. I wasn't aligned with what I was doing anymore. So the thought of having a Vox from a client had nothing to do with the client. I loved all my clients, but it was that energetic drain that I just didn't have it in me anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. You want to make sure when you're going to work with the coach, like if they are someone who gives you Voxer access to them, which is wonderful, and like I don't utilize it enough with my coach because I'm really good at just like hiding from things and not, oh, I don't want to bother someone, or I don't, I'm getting better with that. I just, just like everyone else, every other business owner and mom, like get overwhelmed and, I'll deal with that later. And then I never do. So like my coach has to hunt me down and be like, what are you working on? Like, how can I help you? Like she like begs me to Vox her. Like that's the kind of energy I need, because I need someone to hold me accountable. I need someone to remind me like, hey, I'm here for you. Like, how can I help you? Because it's just not in my nature and personality to reach out when I need help. So another part of really, the self-discovery part of all of this is knowing your personality and your strengths and weaknesses and where you need help to succeed, and finding the right person who's going to do that for you, who's going to keep you accountable. I buy so many courses and never do them. And it's not that they're not good courses. I just don't ever do them. So when I wanted to redo my branding, I had been wanting to do it for a long time. I didn't have the budget to hire someone to just do it all for me. So I was trying to find like, okay, how can I do this? I'm not a designer. Like I'm not good with this stuff. And I didn't have the confidence. So I found a great group program, like a live coaching 4-week program. And it's exactly what I needed. So basically the goal was to get your branding all, consistent and on point, and having a branding expert look at everything, give you pointers. So for me, that was perfect. I was doing it myself, but I had the accountability because I had to show up at 9 a.m. every Monday for 4 weeks in a row if I wanted the branding expert to look at my stuff. And of course, there's that little, for me, not being like a good like graphic designer, I had that anxiety about showing up because I was like, oh, she's gonna laugh at my what I show up with. But of course she's professional and doesn't laugh at you. But I needed that accountability to show up. I needed to know, okay, like this is something I need to do, right? I've been changing my logo and my colors every few months for the last 2 years because I can't decide upon something that I like and it looks good together, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, like, I'm going to do this. So there were times that it was like 15 minutes before the call and I was like rushing to finish making a template for my social content or whatever it was so she could look at it, but I did it. I made it happen because it was important to me, and there was the accountability. And I didn't want to get a message from her. I don't know if she would even message me, but she probably would. Like, why aren't you showing up to these things? If you signed up for this group program, like, where are you?
This episode of Corporate Rejects is sponsored by Outsource Like a Boss. Get tasks out of your head and off of your plate. Outsource Like a Boss is my no BS program guiding business owners through the process of figuring out where they're spending their time each day and outsourcing the tasks. You can start gaining back 10 plus hours per week right away. I absolutely love this program, and I have dozens and dozens of other business owners who have already gone through it and are absolutely loving it and enjoying their life as an entrepreneur more because they now know how to outsource like a boss. I give you all of the scripts and templates and the exact process that I used to interview, hire, manage, and fire many, many, many employees over the years. Go to outsourcelikeaboss.com or click the link in the show notes.
I wanted those expert eyes on my branding material. So I showed up, she gave me pointers, she helped me fix things so everything's in line. And now I don't worry about it anymore. So it was 100% worth it. So for me to take, half hour a week, I don't really know, maybe it was like 20 minutes a week to get on a video call with her. That's what I needed to do. Like, I knew she'd be waiting there for me, so I had to show up. So figure out what it is that you need to succeed and find the right person and make your needs known. If I have someone who wants to work with me as a coach and they tell me like, hey, this is my personality, like I need someone who's going to do this, if it's something I don't want to do or I'm not comfortable with, then I'm not going to take them on as a client. I'm going to say, that's not my style, but let me refer you to somebody else. But if it is something I already do or can add on, then heck yeah, if I jive with them and I like them, then I'll do it. So like for me, when I have the right client, I get excited about getting the Voxer messages. And it's totally different being a VA, having, a client throwing out a whole bunch of stuff for you to do and feeling overwhelmed versus someone, a client that needs your help and your expertise and your guidance. For me, that's different because I'm aligned with it now. And when I first started as a VA, I loved getting messages from clients throwing out all the stuff they needed because I was like, yes, I can do all this. Let me take this off your plate, because that's what I was aligned with at the time, but those things change. So, and that's totally okay. You just have to recognize it and move on. That's a whole other story. But my point is being aligned with what you want to do, and when that starts to be out of alignment, making those adjustments so that you stay happy and that you stay involved in loving your life and your business. That's vital to being a business owner, especially being a solopreneur. Like, you have to stay on track with that. So again, I just want to really encourage you, like when you're looking for guidance, looking for a coach, looking for a guru, whatever you want to call it, really look at yourself first and your needs. And maybe you need a consultation with them or with several people first. Maybe you need to, besides just a discovery call to see if you guys jive, maybe you need to actually pay them for, a one-on-one consultation about whatever it is that you're wanting to grow or have, what you want help with. So like for me, I usually come in when business owners are at the point where they are working too hard and they need to start hiring help. They don't know how to do it. They don't have the time or energy, or they just don't have the expertise to know what to even look for, where, all of that. And they want to grow their business, but they know they can't scale until they grow, outward. They need more people to help. So that's usually when I start working with people, when they're in that phase, or they've already hired a few people and it's just getting to be more managing people than actually, working on their business. So for me, those are like the key times when someone says, hey, like I'm ready to scale. I'm working too many hours. I need help. That's usually when they come to work with me, so I can coach them through that, or we do, consulting, or however we end up doing it. I have a lot of different ways I work with people. I also have a group mastermind. I also have a course. So there's lots of different ways to get that material, and different ways that's going to help you the way you need it. So that's my best advice, is figure out yourself, or at least start the process. I don't know if we ever come to a completion of figuring out ourselves, because I think we're always evolving, but figure out your personality, what you need, where you're going with your business, and that's going to really help you start to figure out who the best coach is going to be for you.
Thank you so much for listening in. I am trying to reach as many moms as I can to help support and empower them in their journey. So if you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you would leave a 5-star review on my Apple podcast page. I know as busy women, entrepreneurs, and moms, our time is extremely limited and valuable. So to sweeten the deal, I am buying the next 10 5-star reviewers their next beverage at Starbucks. Instructions are in the show notes, and I am so grateful for you. I love supporting moms, and I love moms supporting moms. See you next time.